All right, ready to dive in. Today we're exploring God Gives the Power to Gain Wealth, Divine Strategies for Financial Success.
By Bishop Joshua Bowie Sr.
Right, that's the one. This book is a fascinating blend of faith and finance.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he brings those two together.
Me too. It's not just about making money, though. It's about how God wants us to use it.
Okay, so like, what's his angle?
Well, he actually shares a really interesting story about his own career path. He, get this, he started out in the janitorial business.
Janitorial. Seriously?
Yeah, he says he felt a calling from God to do that work.
Wow, that's not your typical prosperity gospel image, is it?
Right. It really makes you think.
Yeah.
And he's not just talking about some abstract theory. He takes these biblical principles of wealth and success and he brings them to life.
So how does he do that?
Well, the book really digs deep into this idea that true prosperity comes from aligning your financial goals with, what God wants for you.
I can see that. It's like, it's not just about chasing money, but about seeking God's will for your finances.
Exactly. And that's where things like tithing and generosity come in.
Yeah.
But even with those, Bishop Bowie doesn't present them as like random rules.
Right. There's got to be a framework.
He puts them in this broader framework of divine stewardship. He's saying we're not just owners of our money.
There's a higher responsibility.
We're caretakers of God's resources. It's about managing them wisely, ethically, not just hoarding wealth.
Yeah, using it for good.
It's about using it for good and for God's glory.
It's a powerful concept.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about your relationship with money.
It does. And he doesn't just stop at responsibility. The book also talks about seeking guidance for our financial decisions, like actually praying about it.
Praying about your finances, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's saying we shouldn't just rely on human strategies or financial advisors, but actively seek out God's will.
Makes sense, but how do we do that?
Well, he uses those classic Bible stories as examples.
Like what?
Like, remember Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dreams?
Right, and saving Egypt from famine.
Yeah, exactly. Or Nehemiah rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. Those stories, they're like blueprints for success, but
Yeah.
divinely inspired blueprints.
I see what you mean. So we should be looking for those divine blueprints in our own lives.
Exactly. But it's not about waiting for some big dramatic sign from God. It's about making prayer and faith a part of our everyday business decisions.
So, like, practically, how do we do that?
Well, it's about asking for guidance, seeking wisdom, being open to the possibilities. And the cool thing is, Bishop Bowie doesn't just leave it at that. He gets into some really practical advice, too.
Like, what kind of advice?
He talks about things like diligence, the importance of hard work and ethical business practices. It's about doing things the right way, even when no one's watching.
Integrity is definitely key.
Absolutely. But then he takes it a step further. He talks about building a legacy.
A legacy. What does he mean by that?
He's talking about something that goes beyond just accumulating wealth, It's about building something that will last, something rooted in faith. He emphasizes teaching financial principles to the next generation, passing that wisdom down.
I like that. It's about creating a ripple effect.
Exactly. Using your wealth to make a positive impact that goes beyond yourself.
That's what it's all about. He uses some interesting examples, too, like those companies that have really integrated their faith into their business practices.
Oh, yeah. Like who?
Chick-fil-A, Hobby Lobby, Tiamat Shoes.
Oh, right. I've heard of them. But they're all so different.
They are different, yeah, but they all seem to be about making a difference in the world while being successful.
It's like they're proving that you can be successful in the marketplace without compromising your faith.
Exactly. They've aligned their financial goals with their spiritual values. It's not just about building businesses. They're building something bigger.
Definitely. They're building a legacy. It's pretty inspiring, It makes you think about your own life and how you can make your money matter. But, he also addresses the, elephant in the room, financial setbacks.
Right, because those happen to everyone.
He knows that nobody's exempt from those, even the most devout people. It's like he's saying, yeah, you might hit some bumps in the road, but you're not alone. You've got faith and, God's with you through it all.
Yeah, like you're not being punished.
Right. Exactly. And that kind of brings us to expanding your territory. It's not just about getting through the tough times, but about having a bigger vision.
It's about seeing the bigger picture, for sure.
Bishop Bowie, he really pushes us to think beyond those immediate challenges and, set our sights on something bigger.
He's talking about using your resources to make a real impact, even if, You don't feel like you have a lot to give.
Right. Even with what might seem like very little. It reminds me of that saying, like a tiny seed, if it's planted right, it can grow into something huge.
Totally. It's all about potential, right?
Yeah.
And that's where all that practical stuff comes back in, like being smart with your money, seeking guidance when you
Right.
need it.
Yeah, right. Having a plan.
Exactly. But it all goes back to faith, doesn't it?
It always does.
Aligning your money and your values with like what God wants for you, that's powerful.
It is powerful. It's like you're seeing those financial challenges, even the setbacks, in a whole new light.
They become opportunities. It's kind of cool when you think about it like that.
It really is. And I think that's what's so unique about Bishop Bowie's approach. He's not just saying, go out and get rich.
There's more to it.
It's about aligning your life with your faith, and that includes your finances. It's about using your resources to make the world a better place.
Beautifully said.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what's your biggest takeaway? What really resonated with you?
I think for me, it's the reminder that real prosperity, it's not just about, how much money you have.
There's more to it.
It's about aligning your financial goals with your values, with your faith.
Mhm.
It's about making a positive impact.
Perfectly said. And for those of you listening, as you continue to explore these ideas, here's a question to think about. Could embracing this idea of divine stewardship change how you view your finances? Not just, in theory, but in your everyday life. Just food for thought. Till next time.